Welcome to Inside the Firm, a podcast dedicated to small business owners and hosted by entrepreneurs, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. Each week, they take you on their journey of how to start, run, and grow a business by bringing you inside their architecture and real estate development firm. Get a behind-the-scenes tour of how these business leaders manage their clients and foster company culture while creating new and innovative projects. And now your hosts, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko.
And now, a word from one of our sponsors.
If you work with specifications in your firm, you've probably come across outdated manufacturer specs and confusing notes. Not only does that happen, that also happens with code books too. And I'm ashamed to say it, but sometimes you're just researching a code online and then you're like, oh, is this 2012, 2015, 2009, 2006? Am I in a county? Do they even have rules? So you don't know if they applied. The same thing can be true for your specs. So, you don't want to find products that no longer exist or even companies that no longer exist. And trust me, I have done both. Maybe you even pay for specifications. Well, don't do that because there's a better way to find manufacturer specs for your products and documentations, and that's ArtCat. ArtCat.com is a free library. It has over 1,400 up-to-date, accurate specifications. Up-to-date and accurate are the keywords. They're written by FCSI, CCS, AIA professionals based on manufacturer data. ArtCat uses powerful search engines to find the right specifications for your products and downloads them in multiple formats for free. You don't even have to register. Look at that. Easy, convenient. Go to artcat.com and get the information you need. That's it.
Welcome to another special episode of Inside the Firm from the AIA 2019 Conference in Las Vegas. Today I'm here with another special guest. His name is Dimitrius Lynch. He is the founders of Lines and Spaces podcast and is a licensed architect with over 12 years of experience. He's practiced both domestically and internationally in various types of building types, specialty, retail, creative office, interiors, restaurants, medical facilities, and boutique hospitality, with a focus in residential design and construction. Beyond architecture licensure, Dimitrius is an accredited professional of leadership in environmental design, in energy and environmental design, or LEED, and Well AP denotes expertise and a commitment to advancing human health and wellness in buildings and communities. Demetrius, welcome to Inside the Firm podcast.
Thank you so much, Lance.
I always love having other podcasters on because we talk and it's easy.
Yeah, because you usually kind of know what the struggle is.
Yep, exactly. You're always trying to pull information out of people and stuff.
Yeah.
So why don't you start? Admittedly, and I'll just flat out tell you, I did not know about Spaces podcast until Mark introduced me to it right before this, but then I dove into it, and as I told you, I loved your intro, even though now you're going to change the intro.
Yeah.
Tell me about Spaces. Tell me about what it's about, how it started, and all of that.
So it literally started out of frustration.
Seriously?
Yeah. It's a sort of a passion. One of the things that really bugged me about our profession is that we're too not inclusive. What's the word?
Introvert?
Yeah, sort of. We talk too much to ourselves.
Yeah.
We struggle with the concept of looking at what we do as a product, essentially, and presenting it as such. The car industry has done a great job of, telling a story. They don't tell you the technical part about the car or anything really in detail about a car, but they have imagery of people and how much they enjoy it and speeding down the road and the story that comes with that. So I look at architecture as we need to shift the way that we look at it and present it. So the goal with Spaces was to kind of flip the way that we present architecture and to do more of a storytelling type of scenario or setting. So we try to tie in as much personal human stories to what we're doing, and we kind of go historically, even though history is usually a boring word. We try not to make it let it get boring, but we look back in history and kind of go through time to explain how a specific building type has evolved throughout time, and all the pressures from government, economy that have affected it. Little interesting stories, like we did one on a brewery and talked about how the shift from wooden barrels to hold beer to metal cask, and the story of that is where basically one of the wooden barrels, which has hot fermented beer in it, basically broke, and all of the beer came out in essentially a tidal wave and crashed into the wall and broke out of the brewery and flooded an entire village and killed like several people.
Oh my Lord.
And one of the people that died from that incident actually died from drinking the beer.
Oh, okay.
So we tell little anecdotes like that. And
how do you find the stories? I mean, is it just a collaboration,
just
or is it
just research? Yeah, so it takes a lot of time to kind of craft our episodes,
because you have 3 people on, right?
Yeah,
usually.
So that's the other part of it, is that we're trying to not only educate those outside of the industry, but have a conversation between the building industry itself. So one person that's on is from the construction side, one's from the development side. So we have sort of this 3-headed conversation.
You're the architect.
Yeah, and then me as the architect.
Yeah.
So we have this 3-headed conversation that kind of gives different perspectives, different interests of whatever the topic is.
Yeah,
so.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was listening to, and there's an age range too, right? Isn't the other gentleman, is he the development side? What's his name?
Yeah, Jason, he's on the construction side.
Oh, construction.
We're all technically millennials.
Yeah.
Sort of on
But he's like right on the cusp of Gen X, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that stuck out when I was listening to you the first couple
and you
episodes.
You get it when he talks without even saying it.
Yep.
You can tell. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hope he listens to this podcast. I appreciated his perspective, because I'm an older millennial too. I'm 36.
Okay.
Right on the edge. Sometimes I call myself a Jillennial.
Yeah.
Because my wife is a Gen Xer.
Okay.
She's a little bit older than me. So cool, man. No, I really appreciate what you guys are doing. What do you? So you took a break, just to kind of reorganize, right?
Yeah. So we more so to bring in money.
Yeah.
So I shifted my personal focus to focusing on my architectural practice. So doing a lot of I had a bunch of projects that I just basically had to get out and done. So that was a big part of it.
Are you a sole proprietor?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I started my own practice a year and a half ago at the same time of starting Spaces. So it's been quite a heavy load.
I totally feel you there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes we'll go into the conference room / studio on a Friday, and we are just like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know. And then we do it. I mean, so you guys, I know yours is a little bit more research, so I can't even imagine how much more effort that takes. Tell me about why you started your own firm. What kind of prompted you to do that?
Same thing, out of frustration. Yeah.
Did you come from a big firm?
Yeah. So I kind of run the gamut. I started in a smaller firm that was 3 people. Then the economy, and that firm was actually high-end residential, custom homes. So we actually made it quite far into the recession. I think I didn't get finally let go until 2010.
Oh, wow.
So I was only out of work for a few months, and then landed in a larger firm. It was about 100 people. And then...
holy cow, that is a drastic difference.
Yeah.
And did it go literally from... I mean, custom residential is such a unique beast. It's very personal on every level. And then all of a sudden, so you went to a firm of 100. Was that all corporate big stuff?
So it was just sort of opposite sort of work as far as residential goes. This was development homes, so working for developers. So you have one end where money is not an issue, and then the other end where
stepping over pennies to get the dollars.
Exactly. So it was a crazy learning experience for me to have those two extremes, and then kind of in between there, jumped around a little bit, left to focus on or to switch my focus to retail. So I did a year of retail, and then got called back from another large development firm, and they just made me an offer I couldn't refuse financially.
Yeah.
So switched back to development housing, and then finally just got fed up and wanted to create my own.
Was it just fed up because was the happiness an issue? I mean, you didn't really feel like you were doing what you wanted to do, like the passion wasn't there? Was that kind of what stepped?
Exactly. It was, you know, when you're working for someone, it's difficult because you're not crafting what it is you want to do, both design-wise in some cases, as well as going after the certain jobs that you want. And the relationships are there's layers to the relationship with the client. And I was looking for being able to, you know, have an actual relationship with my client. Absolutely. Directly, one-to-one. We talk through things, and I'm in tune with what they want to do. So I was lacking that was just really frustrating and kind of bogged me down emotionally, physically, and it was just. I just reached a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore.
I totally hear you. When you and I were speaking, we should have turned the mics on even sooner than when we did a formal intro, because I feel like that was a nice conversation about, you were asking me about how we started the firm, and I'm totally hearing what I felt like about 10 years ago too. It was I felt like my soul was dying.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
Exactly.
One of the worst parts about it was the firm I was working with, it was 4 people, including myself. And my coworker was so introverted, he would not talk. And clearly, as you've seen, like, I'm a talker.
Yeah.
I've been talking all day to a bunch of other people.
I don't know how you're talking to this many people. You told me how long you were interviewing yesterday. I was like, that's insane.
Yeah.
There's no way I could do that.
Even Mark LePage is sitting right behind us. Nobody can see this. I know this. They're listening audibly, but he was saying the same thing. And he's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you? And I was like, wow, I want to bank all these podcasts.
Yeah. No, good idea, though.
Yeah. But it would kill me.
Yeah.
Inside, I would come home and tell my former wife that, and I would just like, it was not a good place. I would actually come home with a headache.
I know.
You too?
Yes.
You too?
I was literally taking aspirin every day at work.
How horrible.
Because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
You can't do it. Life is way too short for that. Yeah. So I got laid off, and I was thankful for it.
Yeah.
Not right away. I was very angry.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, like in hindsight, and now, so tell me about now. Like, how did you go through starting up your own firm? Did you ask for help from anybody? Did you set up an LLC or an S corp, and getting first clients? Everybody always wants to know, how do you get the first clients?
So before I jump into that, let me preface this. The companies that I all worked for were great companies.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily work for every person.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure.
Yeah, sure.
If anyone does any background search on which companies I'm referring to, they're great companies. So just want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, and mine were too. I would like to preface that too.
Yeah.
They were award-winning architects. I mean, they won AIA national stuff, amazing stuff,
great cultures and everything, but it just doesn't work for everybody.
Individually, yeah.
And I explained, I was having a conversation with a friend that was having a similar conversation about the process and everything. And the way I explained it, how you said, having those headaches, I explained how I felt afterwards was like a butterfly that's been tied up.
Oh, cool.
And once I left, it was like the rope broke, and then I finally got to spread my wings, and you feel that like that spine tingling shiver that goes down. It's like, I'm free. I can do whatever I want to do.
It's
now.
a powerful feeling.
Oh yeah. So, but to jump into your question, I ended up I just went for it. I threw caution into the wind.
Were you scared?
Yes and no. I was more excited than scared. And I said, everybody says to save a year of salary and all this stuff. I just I can't do that.
I left with a severance of $1,000, and that's all I had in my pocket with a brand new baby. Man.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I had probably about 3 months worth of salary saved, and I was just like, the way I looked at it is, you're going to continue to push that goalpost back.
Yep.
If you're trying to hit a year of salary, something's gonna come up. Your car's gonna break down. The rent's gonna raise. Whatever the case is, kid breaks their arm. Something's gonna come up.
Something. I agree.
And so I set up. I had about 3 months saved, And I pretty much leveraged my network of friends that were at different companies and basically said, look, I can do consulting for you. And that was my bridge, basically. And financially, that just kind of kept me at a decent place while I built up, my name and talked to people. And the way that it actually kind of started, I was very fortunate to get a job from a larger firm that couldn't handle, or not handle, but
they couldn't take it on, work like...
Yeah, it was too small for them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they basically said, are you interested? We kind of started the design a little bit, but we don't... This is just way under our workload and what we're willing to kind of come down to. So I said, sure, and I took that, and there was a landscape architect on the job. So as we're working, all of a sudden I get... that person, that homeowner, recommended me to someone else. Then the landscape architect that was on that second one recommended me to another one, and then they recommended me to another one. So it's just been all
snowball.
word of
Nice.
mouth, and it's a lot of it has just been sort of the way I approach a project. I've gotten comments that I am. I hate talking about myself this way, but it's kind of weird. But I've gotten comments that I am different from a lot of people in the industry as far as there's a lot of angst and, trying to get through things really quick. And I think what they're referring to more is dealing with some contractors and kind of that side. Because, you got a lot of work to get through, and I don't know exactly what it is, but that's what I was told. And a lot of these people were recommending me ahead of time without me even completing the work, which was crazy.
That is crazy. I mean, it is and it isn't. It happens. Yeah, but you want to want to know if the product's going to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I've just been very fortunate in that way. And just grinding to, present good work, being responsive. Anytime somebody sends me a question, I respond to the email like that day.
Good for you.
Hopefully within like the first hour or two, answering calls. If I don't get to answer it, calling right back. So I think that goes a long way.
It does. We have a rule at our firm, 24 hours or less.
Yeah.
24 hours or less, or you're in
I think
trouble.
I heard you guys say that.
Everybody, that is like critical.
And that goes a long way because people are trusting you with a very, very expensive process,
and they might only do
product.
it once in their life.
Yeah, and to be responsive because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah,
and they don't know all these things, so they're entrusting you to be the professional to guide them through it. So if you don't answer the phone or don't call back for a few days, people start to freak out.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be responsive.
Have you made? You don't have to no names or anything like that. Have you made any mistakes that you would be like, if somebody else was in your position, just starting out, and you'd be like, avoid this, don't do this. This is maybe one thing that I could point to of not to do. And I realize I put you on the spot.
Yeah, that's a tough question to scan my brain. I'm trying to think of something. Mistake-wise, there hasn't. I mean, it's only been a year and a half, so there hasn't been a major catastrophic or significant mistake.
And you had a lot of experience anyway, right? Almost over a decade before you jumped ship.
Yeah, it was
did your own thing.
11 years or so before I ended up starting my own. So I was pretty well versed as how to handle these things, and I was doing larger scale projects than what I'm doing now. So. Not that it's easy, but it's something that I was used to and had less hiccups along the way because I've been doing it for quite some time.
Yeah,
so,
cool. So are you doing mainly residential right now, or kind of like a little conglomerate of small commercial too, anything like that?
So I have the majority of it is residential right now. I'm working on a commercial project, or trying to get it contracted. For the commercial project, which will be a retail space, clothing retail, with potentially a after-school program.
Oh, cool.
Above it, probably like a STEM education center.
Mm-hmm.
on the second floor. So it's not finalized yet, but working on that one.
Yeah. When do you think the podcast will pick back up? Because I want to hear that new intro.
Yeah. So our next launch is June 19th.
Okay.
So in a couple of weeks from now.
Very cool. And then you guys, are you going to do it? It's once a month, right? Or do you guys?
So we do every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And and that was another reason we did a hiatus, is to sort of restructure. So I've banked. I think we have about 5 or 6 episodes. So we're working through editing now. So because it was a lot of pressure to record and then edit within those 2 weeks, and then put it out and then do it all over again.
Yeah.
And I've basically increased my editing load, doing a lot more, so it's making it a lot harder on myself.
Did you just jump into podcasting? I mean, honestly, we did. We just okay, what equipment do I need?
Yeah.
How's the software?
Yeah.
Same thing?
Yeah. I literally searched on Amazon starter podcast equipment, and there was a package, and I was like, I'll buy that.
There you go.
So there's 4 mics and the stands and the amp or not the amp, the mixer.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that looks good.
That's awesome, man. How about uploading it? That for me that was the hardest part. Was okay, you got to have an RSS feed to get into iTunes, and you need to be on iTunes, and then so we use SoundCloud because it's automatic and stuff like that. Yeah. How about you? What do you guys host?
Yeah, so we host through SoundCloud as well.
I hope they don't go bankrupt. They almost did last year, and it freaked me out. Did you know that? Oh,
no,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
What's the other one that everyone does that use
Stitcher?
No, it's not like a normal platform.
Oh,
the
I don't
same
know.
way.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll have to think about it. If I remember, I'll mention it. But there's another platform that a lot of people use that is basically a distribution platform to other podcasts or audio platforms.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of the hub. I can't think of it.
I can't think of it either. Yeah, cool. Well, hey, switching gears, I've been asking everybody 3 questions.
Okay.
And I would love your take on them.
Yeah.
You're a young guy like me, and we're into technology.
Yeah.
We believe in it, especially automation.
Yeah.
So with the exponential growth of technology we've seen in the last century, it seems that automation is inevitable. Are you at all worried that we will lose our professions to automation?
No. I am...
That was a quick no.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Me too.
Because... we have this, there's a lot of people talking about this, and I'm excited for it because I am trying to find a way to make this thing easier.
Mm-hmm. Especially as a sole proprietor, right?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of little things that just take up so much time, and it's like it would make the passion part of it a lot easier, and a lot, or not easier, but it would make the passion part more of what you dedicate your time to, the creative part, the having conversations with your client, figuring out how to solve the problems that they have. That part of it, you can dedicate your time to that fully. So all the little things of keynoting and chasing details around.
Even code analysis.
Yeah.
Upcodes is doing amazing stuff.
I cannot wait for that at some point.
Yep.
To have what if it's a BIM model or some other application that just let you know this is wrong or change this.
I'm happy to be wrong. Just tell me where it is and I'll fix it, and so I can go through it. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm excited too. There's some things that we've done that automate things. Like when we worked, we're sitting in the ArcCat booth right now, and we've, believe it or not, like Alex and I built most of the content that's on ArcCat through Sumex. And working with Sumex, we saw some amazing automation tools for BIM. And so then, we use there's this piece of email software that I use where I can schedule my emails. Okay. So they'll all go out. I'll be working over the weekend, but nobody knows it. Yeah. And then Monday morning,
you just ruined it.
Yeah. Now they know. I know. Some of my employees listen to this too, and they're like, "Oh, that's what I thought he was super productive." Yeah. So I'm excited about it too, man. I hope we don't. I don't want us as a society to be Luddites. Yeah, and think that Andrew Yang, I don't know if you know who that is. He's running for president, and he's trying to do this freedom dividend because he's like, automation's going to happen, so everybody needs $1,000 a month no matter what. I'm like, I don't think it's going to disrupt like that. I think it's going to enable humans to do better things. It's going to enable humans to be more human, right? Yeah, more creative. So
and the thing that I struggle with though is that that's the conversation that's always been out there, is that technology has been supposed to make things easier. But I feel like we just take on more and more now that we have the technology to do it.
Yeah, we do.
So that's the scary part.
We're working more and more and more. Yeah, absolutely, we are. Exactly. I went over to the Bluebeam booth and was just like saying, hey, I just appreciate your software because I'm on my iPad at 40,000 feet in the air doing red lines, and then I get off and I send them to my employees, and like now they're doing their
now
job.
we're just working nonstop.
Yeah,
you have your full-time job, and then you jump in Uber at night. And go do a couple runs.
Yeah, no kidding.
Reads.
Yep.
What is it? The side hustle.
Yep.
That everybody's promoting.
Everybody's got their side hustle.
All these different technologies just add more work. You can work now.
And opportunity, right?
Yeah.
People have more opportunity.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. 3D printing was expected to transform architecture and construction, but uptake of it has been slow. Once the technology has been adopted, how do you see architects adopting it, and will it usher back in the architect as master builder? It's a yeah.
So 3D printing, I am very torn on. In one sense, I see the benefit mostly on the side of affordable housing.
Oh, interesting.
But there's a caveat to that. There's concern with how we use it, because you're looking at, and when I say how we use it, I'm looking more at what is used in the machine to make the walls. So the influx of chemicals, or if it's concrete's not very forgivable once you construct a space. So if someone lives there and they want to add on to it, what is the means to add on to that space? Or if it's chemical, what is the effect of having all of those chemicals inside your home? So there's a lot of concern there for me. I see the benefit, but I'm also very concerned about it. But as far as the architect becoming the master builder, I don't know that it's going to encourage people to become master builders necessarily.
Yeah, just because they have the tool.
Yeah.
My last guest said the same thing.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, it's just been so interesting listening to all these perspectives on these questions. Because it's made me challenge myself, internally. I'm like, all right, maybe it's not going to do that.
Yeah. Because it's not, I don't see why it would, inspire you to become a master builder.
You're either going to want to do it. Yeah.
You're either going to want to do it or not. So it just depends on if it's in you. If you really want to be a builder, then you would already do it.
Yeah.
So
I think so. All right, last one. It's been 10 years since the Great Recession, and it seems like we are due for another one. What is one piece of advice you would give to a small firm architect or business owner as we near the end of this business cycle?
Oh my God.
And you're a business owner. And a small firm architect.
So
you're giving yourself advice.
So I'll say what I've done, or what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
Is completely diversify. There's a lot of books out there that discuss. I'm gonna butcher the word. Productize your business.
Mm-hmm.
So basically chopping up your services, figuring out what parts of your service you can sort of isolate and do quickly and sell them as a product, so that you're not negotiating fees all the time, and then figure out who that client is, so you're more marketable, so you can help out a builder with if they just need someone as an advisor, or they just need someone to do 3D, or just do as-builts, or whatever the case is. Go through your full gamut of skills and figure out how to chop it up and, be more marketable to a lot of different people, and utilize your expertise, your education, because we go through a grueling,
as architects,
4 or 5 year program as architects, sometimes more, depending. And we learn a ton of stuff, so it's advantageous to leverage that, and market yourself as someone that has that expertise.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Diversity, we preach that all day long, man.
And you guys went sort of the developer route, right?
Developer, yeah, we're architects, builders, developers, podcasters, teachers. We teach at CU Boulder too, so yeah, we try to do.
Yeah, I don't know how you do all
that's
that.
what everybody asks. Everybody asks that, and I'm just like, I don't know. We just do it.
Yeah, just roll out of bed and do it.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. Thanks so much for being on today, Demetrius.
Appreciate
it. How can people follow you? How can people keep in touch with you? Where do they go to listen to the podcast?
So for the podcast, you can start at spacespodcast.com. For my architecture, if you're interested in just learning more about, my business and what I'm doing, you can go to houseoflines.com. Lines is spelled Lynes.
Okay.
It's kind of a nod to my last name.
Yeah.
So houseoflynes.com.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for being on, buddy.
All right. Thank you.
And now, a word from one of our sponsors.
Hey, everybody. If you are trying to learn Revit, I think you should learn from yours truly, Alex Gore and Lance Cayko. We have a website called RevitRocketship.com. We've been training university students, other professionals, our own staff for many, many, many years, and we made it available online at RevitRocketship.com. And what's great about it is that it's broken down into 5 to 7 minute chunks, plus or minus on some of them. Teaches you everything from families to a whole project base. And one of the differentiators, I think, there's actually two major ones. One is we're an actual firm, F9productions.com, that does a lot of work. So we are implementing practices that are true. And what that means is that we're modeling like it gets built. We're doing our walls a little bit different. You'll see in the videos of why we do it, but it actually works out in the end to create a better model. We've trained a lot of people, so this is not our first go around. And the other thing too is that you get our template. You get the actual template that we use, hone, develop, and improve every year in that system. So it's for free. So if you were starting a residential project, you'd start off on that. It'd have everything set up the way that we like, the way that helps you go faster, build cooler things, and be more awesome. So check that out, RevitRocketship.com.